What it do, cuckolds? It's your boy, the hater, up in this piece. And it's time for a few announcements. You're going to want to hear this because they're all very exciting announcements. Number one, now that the hater has surpassed 7,000 subs, it's time for the question and answer. The Q&A, cuckolds. You can ask the hater anything, and the hater will respond to it in a later video after I compile the questions. There might be other opportunities to include questions, but as of now, the way to have your question answered is to comment with a question on this video. Please write something like question for the Q&A or some other signifier so that I know that it's a Q&A question instead of a random ass question that I may answer anyways, right? Number two, the hater has said many times over the last few weeks that he's very appreciative of his fans. And as a result, the hater is a man of honor, so it's time to announce Hater Sweepstakes! That's right, the sweepstakes are here, cuckolds. The hater will go to a store and he will buy a gift card, an Amazon gift card probably, maybe for $100, maybe for more, probably $100, to see how this works, because I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to give it to the person that wins, but I'll figure all that out. And what's going to happen is I'm going to randomly choose one of my subscribers to receive this $100 Amazon gift card. You don't have to do anything at all. All you have to do is basically subscribe to this channel so I know you're a subscriber, right? Two, you have to write a comment in this video saying, I hereby apply for the sweepstakes or any facsimile thereof, right? The reason for that is because some of you may not want the gift card, and I'm not going to put you in the drawing if you don't want it, right? You know, we're going to try to get the denominator as low as possible. Some of you are rich, and maybe $100 wouldn't do anything for you. Whereas some of you might be struggling, and the holidays are coming up, $100 might do a lot for you. So, you know, the hater encourages his well-off fans to make room for his not-so-well-off fans, maybe. I don't know. You guys figure that out amongst yourselves. Nevertheless, we're going to pick someone randomly. Now, the third way to enter, right? All of you should be doing the things that I just said, but the third way to enter is if you're someone that I know of, right? There's plenty of subscribers that I communicate with here on this channel one way or another. Dark Stars, Erly Lila, remember Erly Lila? That's right. Lars Henry, you know what I'm saying? Days, Rusty Shackleford. There's a lot of people that I am aware of, right? So these people technically don't have to apply because I'm going to put you in the running anyways. However, I might forget the day of, so it would behoove you to just write the comment anyways, right? But the hater will try to not forget anybody, and this will be a fair drawing, you know? The hater is not here to, like, you know, play around and be like, oh, I'm not doing this, I'm doing that. And if this thing works out well and it's efficient and doesn't take the hater too much time, maybe the hater will do this regularly. Hater Sweepstakes announced today, cuckolds. Hater Sweepstakes. Now we got those announcements out of the way. Oh, also another announcement real quick. The hater will start having a significant presence on Twitter. So all of you that are out on Twitter, please follow the hater at HaterCucks. I will eventually start linking this in the description of videos because the only reason why I want to be on Twitter pretty much comes from last night. I was watching this week's episode of Dynamite, right? And I wanted to rant, you know, and I thought to myself, if I had a Twitter account and, you know, some followers, I could get on there and be like, this match sucked, that match was good, and give my thoughts live, right? So, since I couldn't do that, I did it on YouTube, and now I'm going to talk about that episode a little bit here on, you know, on my video about AEW. So I started watching the match, the first match, right? It's Shelton Benjamin versus, like, fucking Kyle Fletcher, who's starting to look like Eddie Thorpe from NXT. Eddie Thorpe is one of the worst wrestlers of all time, as far as I'm concerned. What is this guy's gimmick? He's a pretend Native American? Whatever. Anyways, it doesn't matter, right? This match was complete garbage, right? I actually got angry. I thought to myself, I'm going to watch it because it's going to be a good match because they're both good wrestlers, right? So I watched up until 9 minutes and 3 seconds. That's when I start fast forwarding because I saw where this was going. I was like, this is either going to end at the very last second, or it's going to be a draw. So I'm watching this, but for the first 9 minutes, nothing happened, motherfucks. Literally, if you haven't seen this, I encourage you to go and watch it, right? You can go and watch the Shelton Benjamin versus Kyle Fletcher match. And you can watch in the first 5 minutes, they don't do anything. They're just walking around the ring looking at each other. Kyle Fletcher's going out on the apron. Shelton Benjamin saying, get in here, right? It is the worst thing I've ever seen. Like, I didn't watch the rest of the match. Maybe the rest of the match was amazing. But if I had to judge a match based on the first 5 minutes, this match, Kyle Fletcher, the supposed future of wrestling, and Shelton Benjamin, the supposed most underrated worker of all time, they put on the worst match I've ever seen, ever. Like, it's not even close. They didn't do shit. I was thinking to myself during the match, I'm like, if people just like tune in right now, they're gonna tune out in like 30 seconds. They're gonna be like, what the fuck is this? Nothing's happening. Oh shit, Shelton Benjamin. And then they're gonna tune out, right? That's another thing, you know? Shelton Benjamin in AEW is still a jobber. You know, this idea that Shelton Benjamin is finally getting the respect he deserves, he just lost to Kyle Fletcher. You know what I mean? Shelton Benjamin is not this force to be reckoned with. Shelton Benjamin is Shelton Benjamin. You know, and I started thinking about this during the match. And I'm like, all right, Shelton Benjamin was very athletic. He was a little botchy. If we're being honest, he was a little botchy. Like, if you compare him to, like, Pac or, you know, like, Cedric Alexander, like, these guys are better than him, if we're being honest, right? They're better, right? They're not as big and as strong, maybe. Well, Pac probably is as strong. But they're not as big. But, like, the athleticism of Pac is, like, unparalleled. The fact that AEW is ruining this guy is crazy. Cedric Alexander and the likes of him, like fucking, like, Mustafa Ali and shit like that, these guys, like, I mean, for better or for worse, they're boring as fuck, but so is Shelton Benjamin. But they, like, never botch. Shelton Benjamin, when he runs up the ropes to the turnbuckle, it's like, it's a 50-50, motherfucks. 50-50, he's gonna fuck it up, or he's gonna hit it. You know what I mean? It's 50-50. Shelton Benjamin is great, but let's be real. If we're being honest, you know, everyone wants to point to Shelton Benjamin as being this underrated guy. But if we're being honest, really honest, which is what the hater is known for, Shelton Benjamin really is overrated, right? This guy hasn't done anything that is that impressive, right? Like, he hasn't done anything that Kalisto cannot do. You know what I mean? He does the same shit as Kalisto. He has the same charismatic value as Kalisto. But for some reason, people look at him and think like, oh, this guy should have been a world champion. Why? Why him? Why not Kalisto? Why didn't Ese Rios become world heavyweight champion? Why didn't Anarquia from TNA become world heavyweight champion, right? It's not as simple as that. You know, like, he's athletic, but he's boring. And this match proved it. And it pissed me off because it got me thinking like, wow, this company really is down in the shitter. I hadn't watched AEW in like 6 weeks, I felt the whole thing, right? So I'm watching a few other notable segments where now Orange Cassidy is like a serious threat. Jay White is back, and he like beats up fucking Pac. Pac in this match was insane. Like, you know, you don't see Pac that often because this guy's always gone. But in terms of, like, actual ability, Pac is fucking crazy, man. Pac is just, like, he's like this ball of muscle that can do it all, you know? And, quite frankly, I didn't really like the fact that Jay White beat him, you know? AEW is in dire straits for this reason. Now, in addition to all this shit, right? Let's be a little bit honest up in this mug, you know what I'm saying? Let's be a little honest up in this mug, right? A lot of things that happened in AEW, like this week at least, I watched the majority of it. I think I fell asleep. I don't even remember how, like, if I finished it or not. But a lot of the things that happened are just bad decisions. You know what I mean? Like, Christian Cage should cash in his thing, right? Then you've got, like, a bunch of other crap. You have a bunch of these, like, lower level guys that are being continuously pushed as, like, mid-level or upper level guys, right? Jay White, I think, is like one of the biggest culprits. But then you also have, like, there was a match. They're doing this stupid ass, like, you know, round robin tournament, like the New Japan one, right? Where it's like you can get 3 points if you win. It's like soccer rules. If you tie, it's 1 point, etc., right? But, like, the problem is, and here's the problem. The problem is you have Kazuchika Okada, who, like, for years we had to hear about how Kazuchika Okada was, like, better than Orton, better than Cena, better than Batista, better than Shawn Michaels, people would say, right? Which is, like, he's not nearly 1/10 of any of the guys that I mentioned, right? But this fucking asshole, Kazuchika Okada, this guy appears there, and he does, like, a time limit draw against Daniel Garcia. Like, I hate to say it. Daniel Garcia, like, if Brock Anderson didn't exist and didn't, like, nepotism his way into AEW, Daniel Garcia would be the worst wrestler of all time. This guy has nothing going for him, right? He looks like shit, right? He has like a shitty physique. He's fucking boring as fuck. And this guy is doing a time limit draw with a guy that you were telling me was better than Cena? Have you lost your mind? If you, like, Daniel Garcia is a guy that Braun Strowman squashes in like a 3-on-1 handicap match. Like, it'll be like Braun Strowman versus 3 Daniel Garcias, and he'll just manhandle all 3 of them, stack them, and pin them, right? Or like, Daniel Garcia is the guy that, like, it's his moment. He runs into like an End of Days by Baron Corbin during the Baron Corbin like 10-second match era, right? And just loses like that. That's who Daniel Garcia is. He's a jobber, right? I use the term loosely, but in this case, he literally is a jobber. So we have this guy going toe-to-toe with the guy who was the best wrestler in the world. Like, I mean, if you didn't believe it then, now you know. I mean, you have to know now. How can Okada be the best wrestler in the world? Okada fucking sucks. Okada's not good enough to be a mid-carder. Like, people were like, he's better than Cena. It's like, The Miz is 100 times better than Okada ever will be. Okada is shit. Like, people are like, oh, I can't believe Okada didn't get a push. And this is a thing you hear a lot. They're like, oh, TNA really dropped the ball with him. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. They're like, oh, this guy fucking sucks. So he's going to be put within a mask in a Kato gimmick and be beaten up by Elijah Burke or fucking D'Angelo De Niro, who's 100 times better than him. You know what I mean? People act like in TNA, they had him lose to like fucking, you know, like Tigre Uno. No, he wasn't like, he was getting his ass beat by like prospective people like Samoa Joe and D'Angelo De Niro, who are better than him. You know, this is like, not to go on an Okada rant because that's going to come soon, but the idea that Okada is like this missed opportunity is absurd. He's basically like an intercontinental title level guy. Like, if you take Okada and you take Xavier Woods, like, you're not going to convince me that Okada is better because he had a 9-star match against like Tanahashi in 2016. No, I don't give a fuck. The match was boring. I saw all those matches. You know, that's another thing. New Japan is like, you always hear this, like, oh, New Japan lets them do what they want. They do the same shit. They do the same shit. Like, Tetsuya Naito has been doing the same shitty, botchy, like, you know, Destino forever. Like, that move never looks the same twice. Like, he does the same move that fucking Dragon Lee does. And even Dragon Lee does it better. He doesn't do it very good either, but you know what I'm saying. Like, that place is full of botches. They do like a top rope dropkick. People are like, wow, it was perfect. It's like, are you insane? This is something that like Gregory Helms did like 20 years ago. Like, I tuned in the first time to like New Japan because I'm thinking, wow, it's gonna be amazing wrestling, right? And it's like then it's like fucking Tanahashi, whose finishing move is a flying crossbody. His finishing move is a crossbody from the top rope. A move that like RVD would do like 10 times in a match for free. RVD was like twice his size, right? Come on. You know what I mean? These guys are not good, and quite frankly, I'm tired of it. AEW represents a new low. We had like Swerve Strickland come out. Nobody gave a flying fuck. The only time they care about this guy is when Chris Nana says, whose house? And they say Swerve's house because they're just programmed, right? They're programmed to answer like fucking Pavlovian dogs. You know what I mean? But like, when he came out in his entrance, nobody gave a shit. Like, nobody gives a fuck about Swerve Strickland. That's why the show draws like 500,000. Nobody cares about these guys. They're not entertaining enough. And the fact that you take WWE rejects and you try to like present them as main eventers, it's like, no, motherfucks, I'm sorry. I know people like him. Swerve Strickland is not a main eventer. He's not. Adam Page is not a main eventer. Like, at least they give the title to Moxley, who, like, of the people they have there, he's probably the most capable, right? Aside from Edge and Christian, obviously, which should be the champions. But you get what you get. You know what I'm saying? And with all that being said, the Hater says thank you once again, and sign up for the Hater Sweepstakes, cuckolds. Hater Sweepstakes.